Have you ever just, stopped to think about how magical reading really is? I mean, we look at these little symbols on a page, and suddenly a story, an idea, a whole universe just comes to life right inside our heads. So, how does that even work? Well, today we're going to crack the code on the very first steps of that incredible journey. It really all comes down to this one question. How does a random jumble of lines and curves transform into something we get instantly, like the word apple or house? I'll tell you this, it's not automatic. Our brains actually have to learn a kind of secret code first.
And the key to unlocking that code? Well, it starts way before a kid even memorizes the alphabet. It all kicks off with a skill that has absolutely nothing to do with seeing and everything to do with hearing.
And that skill is called phonemic awareness. Now, look closely at that definition. The key phrase is spoken words. This is all about what you can hear. It's the ability to pick out and even play with the tiniest individual sounds. We call them phonemes in the words we say out loud. This is so important. For a second, we have to completely forget about written letters. This has nothing to do with spelling or knowing your ABCs. It is purely about the sounds we hear when we talk. And that's probably the most critical first step for any new reader. Okay, let's try a quick one. Take the name Ria. Now, it has 4 letters, right? But does it have 4 sounds? Try saying it slowly. R, A, ya. How many separate little chunks of sound do you actually hear? And there you have it. R, E, yay, A. 4 distinct sounds. That simple little act of breaking a word down into its sound parts, that's phonemic awareness in action. It's kind of like being a sound detective. Okay, so we're officially sound detectives now. The next piece of the code involves maybe the most versatile letters in the whole alphabet, the vowels. They're at the heart of every syllable, but they've got a few tricks up their sleeve. You could almost say vowels have a dual personality. They've got a short sound, like the a in cat, and then they've got a long sound where the vowel literally says its own name, like the a in late. Can you hear that difference? A versus A? That's the next piece of the code. All right, pop quiz time. Using what we just talked about, how many individual sounds can you hear in the word bake? Now remember, it's all about what you hear, not how many letters you see on the screen. Okay, let's break it down together. The first sound is pretty clear, right? It's B. The next sound is that long A sound, A. And the last sound you hear is K. So, what's missing? That E at the end is totally silent. It doesn't make its own sound at all. Which means the answer is 3. The word has 4 letters, but only 3 sounds. And this is a perfect example of why phonemic awareness, just listening for the sounds, is so incredibly important if you want to become a strong reader. So, we know letters make their own sounds, but what happens when they decide to team up? This introduces a whole other fascinating layer to this code we're trying to crack.
And this is where we meet something called a digraph. It's a really simple idea, but it has a huge impact. It's just 2 letters that when you put them side by side, they stop making their own sounds and instead create one brand new sound together.
Think of it like this. It's like 2 separate Lego bricks clicking together to make one new shape. The letter S and the letter H stop being S and H, and they merge into one sound. Shh. And this happens all over the place in English. Just look at how these teams work. What, that, shake, chart, phone. In every single one of those words, you've got 2 letters working together to make one single unique sound. Learning to spot these letter teams is a massive leap forward in decoding words really quickly. So let's pull all these different threads together. We've gone from just hearing individual sounds to understanding how vowels work to seeing how letters can team up. We're ready to start building something even bigger. These really are the fundamental building blocks. It's a step-by-step process. You start by hearing those individual phonemes. Then, you master the tricky sounds of vowels. And finally, you learn to spot those letter teams, like digraphs. Each skill just builds right on top of the last one. And this is why it all matters so much. These skills aren't just some abstract rules in a textbook. They are the engine that drives comprehension. They're what allow our brains to pull off that amazing magic trick of turning static symbols into dynamic language and meaning. So, you've just been handed the first set of keys to unlock written language. But trust me, this is just the beginning. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secret codes and hidden patterns are just waiting to be discovered in the words we use every single day?